Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel GMB Show. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Mark Labbett, also known as the Beast on The Chase, previously shared that he had struggled behind the scenes amid filming of an episode, with Paul Sinha supporting him over it. Professional quizzer Mark Labbett was once supported by one of his colleagues after sharing that he had experienced a breakdown before filming scenes for The Chase. Mark, known as the Beast, appears alongside Ann Hegarty, Dara Ennis, Sean Wallace, Paul Sinha, and Jenny Ryan as one of the chasers on the ITV quiz show. Contestants form groups of 4 to take one on in each episode. He shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, last year that he had faced difficulties before taking on a team during production, as reported by the Daily Star, with the situation having resurfaced this week. As reported by The Mirror at the time, Mark said that he had a breakdown prior to filming the final chase, adding that he was utterly demoralized by facing another star team. He said that he did applaud the victorious team, but claimed it was edited out, writing in a tweet, "I still applauded and congratulated the team, but it was edited out." His co-star Paul jumped to his defense in the comments at the time, stating, "It's easily lost. We're not robots. We're human beings trying our best. Whatever you see on screen is a snapshot of us at an unspecified moment sometime in the last 18 months. He added, "We could have been under stress for any number of reasons, much of which may be long forgotten." As previously reported, fans were quick to rally around Mark after the scenes aired, with one viewer commenting, "It's the most frustrated I have seen you. On the bright side, my wife and I were laughing at how grumpy you looked, but in a nice way if that's possible. All part of the twists and turns that great show provides." Sharing their thoughts, another wrote, "You could tell halfway through with the tone in your voice you knew that you had been beaten." Someone else said, "Anyone can have a bad day." Another fan is quoted as having teased at the time, "Sorry to hear that though. Was clear you weren't yourself. Hope you're back to your brilliant bullying best soon. You'll always be the chaser we fear the most. Well, maybe second to Anne, LOL." It was supposed to be just another high-energy recording of the chase, bright lights, witty banter, and tense moments that made viewers' hearts race. But behind the cameras, Mark Labbett, known to millions as the Beast, was fighting a very different kind of battle. Mark had been under immense pressure in recent weeks, a punishing filming schedule, relentless public appearances, and personal challenges that he had kept mostly hidden from fans. That morning, he'd walked onto the set with his usual towering presence, his deep voice greeting the crew. But Bradley Walsh, ever the sharp observer, noticed something in Mark's eyes, a dullness, as though his usual spark was dimming. The game began as normal. Contestants filed in, the questions flew, and Mark performed with his usual precision. But midway through a particularly tense round, something unexpected happened. Mark paused. His hand hovered over the buzzer, his gaze fixed somewhere beyond the cameras. Bradley asked if he was all right. I just need a moment," Mark murmured, his voice cracking. The studio fell silent. The Beast, the unshakable quiz titan, was visibly shaking. Producers quickly called a break, and as the contestants were ushered off stage, Paul Sinha, the Sinnerlin, was already moving toward his friend. Paul, who has faced his own health battles, recognized the look of a man on the edge. Without hesitation, he placed a hand on Mark's arm and guided him toward the green room. Behind closed doors, the facade dropped. Mark sank into a chair, running his hands through his hair. "I don't know what's wrong, Paul. It all feels like too much today." His voice trembled with frustration and exhaustion. Paul listened without interrupting, his trademark humor softened into empathy. "Mark, you've carried so much for so long. You're allowed to have an off day. You're human before you're the Beast." They talked quietly for several minutes. Paul reminded Mark of the strength he'd shown through countless challenges, both on and off the set. He told him it was okay to lean on others, that sometimes letting people in was the bravest move of all. When Mark finally looked up, there was a glimmer of relief in his eyes. Thanks, mate. I think I just needed someone to say that. By the time filming resumed, Mark was still a little subdued, but Paul stayed nearby, offering the occasional reassuring smile from across the studio floor. Bradley lightened the mood with a few jokes, and the atmosphere slowly shifted back to the show's familiar warmth. Later, as they wrapped for the day, Mark quietly told the crew, "I had a wobble, but I'm okay, and that's thanks to Paul." It wasn't a moment the audience would ever see on TV, but for those in the studio that day, it was a reminder that even the strongest among us sometimes need a hand, and that real champions aren't just made on the quiz board, but in the way they stand by each other when it matters most.